Okay, today's lesson is lesson number 55. We're multiplying polynomials. So today is different because instead of just one term, there's going to be a binomial in front, so two terms times another 2 or 3 terms. The steps, though, are the same as yesterday. So let's get started. As for the first example, we'll make our rectangle. And just like yesterday, I would put this one on top, right? So 3x plus 4. But on the side, I don't just have like 2x, right? I have 2x minus 7. So to deal with that, I'm going to put the 2x here and then minus 7 below. Okay. And then I'll break up my rectangle but wherever there's addition or subtraction. So I split here. But there's also subtraction over here, so I'm going to split my rectangle across as well. So I have 4 boxes now. But it's the same concept where I'm going to find the area of each box to get the area of the whole. Okay? So first I take 2x times 3x for this box, and I get 6x squared. For this box, I'm going to take 2x times 4x, and times 4, and I'll get a positive 8x. On the bottom left, I have negative 7 times positive 3x, which gives me negative 21x. Then negative 7 and positive 4 gives me negative 28. So I can add these pieces together now. 6x squared plus 8x minus 21x minus 28. And I see that I have two terms with an x in it, so I can combine those and get 6x squared minus 13x minus 28 as my final answer. Okay, in this second example, I'm going to do something very similar. So I make my rectangle. I set x minus 4 on top, then negative 2x plus 5 goes on the side, plus 5 goes on the side. I'm going to break up my rectangle anywhere I see addition or subtraction, so it looks like this, and then find the area of each box by multiplying the length and width. Okay. So my first box is negative 2x times x, which is a negative 2x squared. The next box is negative 2x times negative 4, which is positive 8x. Down on the bottom left, I have 5 times x, which would give me a positive 5x. Then positive 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. I add these, so negative 2x squared plus 8x plus 5x minus 20, and combine like terms, which would be the 8 and 5x, to get negative 2x plus 13x minus 20 as my final answer. Okay. These are just a little bit different. They have 3 terms in the second part, so that's fine though. All we need to do is add an extra column in our box. So I'll make my rectangle. I'll put x squared minus 1 over here. Then across the top I have 2x squared plus 4x minus 6. I break up the rectangle anywhere there's addition or subtraction and solve each piece. So my first box, I have x squared times 2x squared, which is going to be a 2x, and I add the exponents, so to the 4th. Next box, I have x squared times 4x, which would be a positive 4x cubed. The final box on top, I have x squared times negative 6, so that's negative 6x squared. Moving on to the next row, I have negative 1 times 2x squared gives me a negative 2x squared. Then I have minus 4x in this box and plus 6 here. Okay, now I add these and combine like terms, so 2x to the 4th plus 4x cubed minus 6x squared minus 2x squared minus 4x plus 6. I see that I have 2 terms that both have an x squared term, so I can combine those. So my final answer would be 2x to the 4th plus 4x to the 3rd minus 8x squared minus 4x plus 6. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to skip examples 4 and 5 and move on to number 6. Okay, so again, I make my rectangle. I have x minus 8 on one side, then across the top I have 2x squared minus 5x plus 4. I break up my rectangle here and here. Then across as well. Okay, then I solve for each piece, so I have x times 2x squared gives me a 2x to the third, or 2x cubed. The next box I have x times negative 5x, which is negative 5x squared. Then an x times 4 gives me positive 4x. In the bottom row I have negative 8 times 2x squared, which is negative 16x squared. Negative 8 times negative 5x would be positive 40x. And in the last box I have negative 8 times a positive 4, which is negative 32. Alright, adding these terms gives me 2x cubed minus 5x squared. And instead of writing this term next, I'm going to write the terms in descending order, and I see I have another x squared right here, so I'm going to write that next. So 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 16x squared. I'll go back and get this x term now, so plus 4x plus 40x minus 32. I see that I have two x squared terms and two terms with an x, so I can combine those. That gives me 2x cubed. The negative 5 and the negative 16 gives me a negative 21x squared. Then the positive 4 and positive 40 gives me a plus 44x. And finally minus 32. So that would be my final answer. Alright, and that's it for today's lesson. Thank you.